Janice Litvin is on a mission to help leaders and teams banish burnout in their organizations. She does this through keynotes, workshops, and accountability groups. Her presentation, Banish Burnout, Move from Stress to Success. Here's Janice.
Oh my God, I'm so stressed out. You won't believe what happened yesterday. I get to work and find out that the hotel where our conference is next week is completely flooded. All the conference rooms, everything. And now we have to find a new venue in 24 hours. Then, believe it or not, my husband had the nerve to get mad at me for not cleaning out the garage. I think I was a little busy. And to top it all off, I decide after that long, stressful day to go to Starbucks and have a cold brew and relax. So I walk in and there's a really long line. And the customer at the counter is a mom with a 3-year-old.
Honey, do you want the blueberry scone or the strawberry scone? Honey, do you want chocolate milk or lemonade? Honey, 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 honey.
You ever had one of those days? Or does it feel like every day is one of those days? How often do you feel stressed out? When I ask my clients this question, 75% of the people say they feel stressed out every day. What stresses you out? Is it long lines? Is there a problem with one of your meetings? Or the Kardashians are canceling their show? But seriously, often it's a disagreement with a colleague, right? And a little fight can turn into a big explosion. Stress is around every corner. And in the words of that sage philosopher, Rosanna Dana, it's always something. But here's the thing. How do you react? Your stressor is over here. Your reaction is over here. The problem comes when you let the stressor gobble you up. Now, you wouldn't be human if you didn't have some sort of reaction, but how low do you go? And how long do you stay there? What I mean by that is, how upset do you get? And how long do you stomp around and complain and tear your hair out? In my most popular program, Banish Burnout, and my Banish Burnout book, I give you specific tools to help you minimize the damage that stress can cause. Today, I'm going to talk about the first tool so that you can quickly incorporate it into your life today. And this is called Stop and Audit. So let's start with Stop. What is Stop? Well, like Jan, I like acronyms. STOP stands for stop, take a breath, observe, and then proceed. This was developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn, the father of modern day mindfulness. And what STOP does is a few things. That big deep breath actually does have a calming effect on your nervous system. And then it allows you to pause before you react and then think before you speak. You see, when you're on autopilot and you're tearing your hair out because you have this huge problem, you're operating out of the amygdala, the fear center of the brain. But when you stop, breathe, and observe, you're giving control to the prefrontal cortex, the executive functioning part of the brain. And it was Viktor Frankl, I'm also quoting Viktor Frankl, Jan, Austrian Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, who taught that it's more important to focus on how we react to stress rather than the stressor itself. And he thought about this while he was in the concentration camp. The more you practice stop, the more you're training yourself to interrupt those negative thoughts and grab control over your reactions. And this practice has very powerful implications for every situation. It allows you to modulate your emotions and give you control. So now let's move on to the second tool, the stress audit. This is something I developed that allows you to go back and analyze what happened after a stressful event. Not so you can figure out what the other person did, but so you can figure out how you reacted. And this is how you build awareness, which, as you probably know, is the first step to behavior change. So let's take an example. You're in a meeting on that fateful day when you found out the whole hotel was flooded, and you're in a meeting with your coworkers trying to solve the problem. And since you're the point person on the event, you say, okay, I have my plan B venues, no problem. And I know how to communicate with all my attendees. I've got this. But somebody decides to argue with you and says, oh no, that won't work. We don't like your plan B venues. Hopefully you're not going to argue in a meeting. You're probably sitting quietly stewing in your chair, and you decide, well, I'll just talk to the right people after the meeting. If you pay attention, your body is telling you that it's upset. It's giving you a physiological message. Mine is knots in my stomach. What's yours? Put in the chat what your physiological reactions to stress are, and I've heard them all. One client even called to tell me she gets rashes. So what the stress audit does is it allows you to take note of what happened so that you don't keep stress all bottled up, because as you know, that will lead to a big explosion. And you write down what happened, how you felt physically, emotionally, verbally, and how extreme was your reaction. When you write with a pen and paper, things come out that you didn't even know you were feeling. While you're writing, the amygdala is dumping. When you go back and reread and analyze, you're giving your perspective to the prefrontal cortex. And this helps you get more intimate with yourself, and this will help lead you to behavior change. So that's it. The first tool of the Banish Burnout Toolkit, Stop and Audit. 2 techniques that you can start using today to minimize the damage that stress has. And I'd like to leave you with this challenge. The next time you find yourself in the midst of a stressful situation, I would like you to stop and audit. And I'd like to offer you a free gift of my book, The Banish Burnout Toolkit. I will put in the chat a link for you to download it as my gift, and that's janicelitvin.com/resources, and it will be in the chat. Thank you so much. Back to you, Ed.